A destructive and quite painful defeat at the hands of Manchester City and Erling Haaland this afternoon, which leaves us with 0 points after the first round of games in the Premier League. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. It's time for the unofficial reaction for West Ham United 0, Manchester City 2. We went throughout the whole of last season by scoring a goal in the Premier League at home, and that has broken on the opening day of the season against Man City. A really painful and just a real message to the Premier League about what Man City and Erling Haaland are going to do this season. Hope you're all well watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, put all your comments and thoughts on the game into the chat. I'm joined, as I was pre-match, by Kieran. Kieran, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Nothing. I'm not too surprised with the result, but the performance was quite lethargic and quite worrying. I did pick the 2-0 result, so it's nothing. There was no surprises there, and it just shows. What did you say? You said you think Ireland was going to struggle, have a bit of a struggle. It didn't look much of a struggle to me.
No.
It just shows you what I've been watching that boy for about 3 years, and I think he's the ultimate striker. And he had 2 chances, took them, and this is and his pace is unbelievable for a big man. And it was. But we just didn't offer any threat whatsoever. Too many. This is when we have these games where people are anonymous, and Bowen was anonymous, Lanzini and Fornals. Just nothing. Antonio, too many. You can have 1 or 2 being off. When you got 4 or 5, not really up to it. I don't think the heat helped. 32 degrees in that stadium. That's I've played games here in heat, and it really does take it out of you. You'd be surprised that it really is an issue. But they looked like it was, it was almost Brighton-esque, this performance, wasn't it?
It was. I thought, there's plenty to digest, and plenty of things that happened in the game. I mean, they felt like they were dropping like flies in the first half. Firstly, we lost Fabianski, so Areola came on, and then like the third thing Areola done was take down Haaland in the box. He couldn't have really done much about it. Man City have a penalty, 1-0 Man City.
No, sometimes you've got to be careful what you wish for. We wanted Areola to start, and then he goes on and gets penalty away. But having said that, that touch that Haaland took, that weren't a touch just to win a penalty, and the ball's going to run out. I think that touch was so good, he turns and he slots that in. So he stopped the goal, if you want to look at it like that. But I think Areola I think a lot of goalkeepers and defenders will underestimate the pace of that boy. Because even when that ball was put through, I thought Areola could get there, and then he was nowhere near it by the time he took that touch. So, he's just a quality striker, and the penalty was perfection as well.
It was, It couldn't have been any more in that corner. Let's take some comments before we carry on. Terrible results, says Callum. Lawrence, hope you are well. Embarrassing. Men against boys. We didn't even try. We were so slow, and the defence looked really bad. Johnson out of position and Zuma looked out of shape. I mean, to be fair, it was to be expected, a poor performance defensively. I mean, Johnson, I thought he did okay. Slightly, you say out of position for that goal, but even if he was in position, if he didn't stop that through ball, he weren't stopping Haaland, and that was going in anyway. So you can't really do much about that. Benny came on with the best energy. He came on with energy, but the end product once again is the same old story. He put the ball in. Can't even beat the first man, and none of them attacking wise stood out today, and it was just the same old Ben Rama, in my opinion. He needs to start doing something, otherwise he will get sold. James, at least I got Fabianski's clean sheet correct. You did. That's quite frustrating. Quite frustrating for Fabianski, innit? Or do you think in the bigger picture you prefer to see Areola there?
It's hard to say. Fabianski's been good for us over the years, mate. But obviously, with his age, and he's only got his 1-year contract, the natural progression is to bring in a younger, more agile keeper. That's the way it is. I think he only got a dead leg. He'll probably be on in a couple of days. But again, toss a coin. Who do you put in? Areola to me is the future West Ham goalkeeper. So
Yeah,
do you start with it now, or do you just keep chopping changing? Or
I
probably
don't
now,
know.
you know. I mean, to be honest, the two goals, Areola didn't have a save to make, really.
No.
You know, he didn't really have a save to make. He had the one-on-one with Haaland, and that was he had no chance for that,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Mm. Um, I do agree with this comment though. Moyes brings Downs and Coventry on with 80 seconds to go and neither get a touch. Yeah, I agree. He should have done it 10 minutes before. What's the point? It's just taking the complete mick out of them by bringing them on the 89.5 minute. Just what's the point?
Yeah,
Might as well just leave them
I
on the
started
bench.
screaming at the telly there and going, "What are you doing? What is the point? What
Yeah,
is the point of them?" And then that class is probably as their debut, to
yeah.
do
Well,
what?
yeah.
Not even see the ball.
Class as Flynn Downs' debut when he comes on the 89th minute, comes off on the 92nd minute. What's the point? Really, what's the point? But anyway,
No.
Luke, hope you're well. Miss Hammer, we'll try not to be too negative. We didn't get a batter, but that Haaland is a beast/weapon. We look poor
Yeah,
first half, a little bit stronger in the second half, but not great.
yeah.
Serious question: Would/could Fabianski have got to that second goal? Nah, no chance. No chance. I don't think. I don't think barely any keeper in the world is getting to that, in my opinion. Haaland is massive, fast, agile. He is made for the English game. I agree. Luke says our front four was terrible first half. There's nothing there, and this is where Cornet comes into this. I think he was brought on pre-match with a bit of pace, with a bit of flair, because we missed that so much today. It was just dead. It was dry. There was no attacking mentality at all. It was just flat, completely and utterly flat. And I know you can't look into this game too much, and I'm not. Yeah, of course I am bothered. I'm upset we've lost, but the test is next week. If we come out of it feeling the same this time next week, then it's
Exactly. Look, we're always up against it today against Man City. Especially
yeah,
when you see the lineup. We had one fit centre half. We was always up against it. I did expect a little bit more energy from the boys, but maybe that the heat of the day as well played a part in that. But it is against Forest, and from what I see of Forest the other night, my God, I reckon we should go and put four past them. They
you'd
look.
hope so.
I don't see anything there that should be scared of, and we should be able to put a team out there to beat them. And if we can't perform against them, then we might start worrying. But I'm not worried
Yeah,
about this result. To be honest, this
no,
is an expected result. It isn't. Not so we didn't get slapped like Miss Amoret said. We didn't get slapped 4 or 5. And really the amount of possession and the amount of passes they made, it could have been a 4 or 5 goal game. But we limited their chances. We did limit it, but they were cruising. We were too passive for me. But I wouldn't worry too much. I think our season starts next week.
yeah, I agree. I mean, then just towards the back end of the first half, we all thought Antonio's hamstring went pop, but he seemed to go through it, and then we went into half time 1-0, and it was flat, yes, but most of us thought there was going to be that burst at some point, and it came in the middle of 2 substitutions where our new striker made his debut, Gianluca Scamacca. We saw half an hour of him. He didn't rip up any trees, but he won most of his headers. What did you make of his first half an hour in a West Ham shirt, Kieran?
No, that was all right because, like you said, I think he won nearly every header he went for, and he looked good. And he was trying to make things happen, trying to get involved. Left the boot in a couple of times, which I liked. Because I think that's one thing we didn't do today. We didn't give it to them. We should have fouled them more. Should have booted them more.
Yeah.
Because they done it. They done it to Antonio at the beginning of that game. They made sure they knew Antonio was the only threat we had, and that boy was up his clacker and booting him and kneeing him and making sure that he weren't going to create anything. And I think we should have been doing that to them a bit more. But
I completely agree because I think Dad said straight away he came on and he put a foot in, he challenged and he's telling the centre backs, don't forget I'm here and I'm here to cause an issue and he won most of it. He looked quite lively. I do hope he starts next week. But we would expect Antonio to start against a Forest side, which are not even shouldn't really be in the same league to this Man City side. Let's be honest. It will be interesting to see what he's like if he gets a decent enough time on the pitch next week. Let's take some of your comments. I'll tell you what, this is bang on from Luke. Luke says, I think Moyes wanted to play through it about, but injuries knackered it. Yeah. And you could see in moments we did slot into a back three because Creswell came in a bit, and it did look like we were playing as a sort of a back three at times, but then we did push out into a back four. Yeah, that's bang on. I think it's Diop injured. X said he's going to do an update on it, but I don't think it's injury. I think it's more to do with his status at the club. In my opinion, I don't know. I'm not in the know, but that's just my opinion. Billy says we need new wing backs. Soufal got ripped. I don't think that's a major issue, to be honest with you. In terms of that, I think the major issue we need to take out of it today is we need to start doing something up front. We need to start attacking, and that was poor today, and bit of it will go down to the team we played because we went up and they just shut the door on us pretty much every time we went forward. A couple of times in that little spell we had though, Kieran, and in the first 2 minutes, that header, we on another day we would have scored. Rice had that shot where his eyes lit up and he hit it to Upton Park at the end of the day.
I was disappointed with that. I mean, Rice should have been. He had the time to hit it. And he seemed to try and side foot a bender into a corner or something and just got under it. Just put your laces through it and just get the target, mate. And he was that close. It was close enough that the keeper might not even seen it. Yeah, disappointing then. And again, we seem to have this negative thing at times where we bring the ball out and push it back, and then they press and we boot it long, which is giving the ball back to them basically. And that can channel, I thought, just in that first half, just run the game. He run the game, and De Bruyne to me didn't get out of second gear.
No, he didn't. To be fair,
effective.
To be fair, I don't think Man City even got out of second gear. It was just Haaland with a couple of pieces of brilliance, which really, really won them that game. They were in complete control. There's no doubt in that. I don't think it looked like more of a training session to them because, without Haaland, logically, if you look at it on paper, then it would have been 0-0. They wouldn't. I don't think they would have scored that second goal without Haaland's acceleration to get there and to bury it.
Yeah, and even the penalty, it was his pace that got him there. Well before Areola. So yeah, it was all down to him, mate. He just showed you what a striker is. The scary part about him is you'd expect that the Man City team that they've got, if you're talking Foden and Grealish, De Bruyne, Bernardo, said they create for him 4 chances a game. I think every possibility, and you expect him to take 1 out of 4 at least. Yeah. So his numbers this year could be frightening if he carries on in it. Absolutely frightening. Because
I think with what he's got there, with his acceleration, with his finishing ability, with his all round striker game, he's suited to the Premier League. He's physical, and with the players he's got around him, as you said, he's going to get 4 or 5 opportunities every single game, and you'd expect him to bury one of them. And I think he's going to hit seriously good numbers. And
if he does 1 a game, there's 38.
Yeah, exactly. 39 now. He scored 2 in this game. He is going to get serious numbers, and people are on about City, and even somebody said earlier Spurs are going to get near him. Not a chance. I do not think Liverpool Spurs are getting anywhere near City this season, in my opinion. If he's gonna just keep going like that, and didn't even look like anything more than a training game for him. What did you make of Creswell, Kieran?
Slow, and.
I didn't think he was that bad, to be fair. But
I don't think he had a bad game because it was very hard to judge anyone who had a good game. No one really particularly. No. Rice was done some good interceptions and trying his hardest. He does his usual. Rice, he's always a good 7 to 8 out of 10, isn't he? But I don't think he was terrible. But it was just so flat all over. It was hard to judge anyone on this performance.
Yeah,
it really is. No one stood out for me.
when you take everything into account, as it so they put a thermometer up on Sky Sports, it's like 31.2 degrees or something. And I know it's that for both sides, but they have got them quality there, and that's apparent. I don't think anybody should be realistically judging the players, Moyes, or anything on this game, because first game of the season, this
No,
guy's
believe
just
me.
come in and just been ridiculous, and I don't think
Jake,
we can judge the team on this.
our season here in Australia used to be in Australia's winter, but it still could get up 24, 25
Yeah,
degrees. And I'm not joking. At half time, I was gasping. I used to go in and have a shower, put my head under the shower, trying to cool down. And this
yeah,
is 32 degrees. Right? I'm telling you, it's a massive difference for a game. Now, the way City play with just passing, they're not really exerting themselves too much. They
right,
just go in little spurts. Where if you want to, if you really want to play, you've got to press them. You've got to really chase hard. And I don't think we could today because it was
right,
just too hot. And
yeah.
it does affect the game.
Miss Hammerette says made the critical error and gave them too much respect today. Yeah, and then when we did go out and really went for it, we looked dangerous. Yes, we then conceded the goal, but it is what
Yeah,
it is
and
now. But we
and
looked
then they pick
dangerous.
you
That's the
on.
main thing, you know.
We did give them a go there for about 5 minutes spell, and it looked
Yeah,
good. But then they pick you off at two passes. De Bruyne just feeds in Haaland, perfect
yeah,
pass, and he's placed bang. Thanks for that. See you
yeah,
later. Game over.
exactly. Frema says we weren't ready today. This was apparent from start to finish. Yeah. I can see why people are frustrated, disappointed, and I am frustrated with it. But I'm not gonna, tomorrow I wake up, it's done now. Forest is the most important game in this situation now. If we're sat here shaking our heads with the same issues this time next week, as I said earlier, then I think it's time. Well, it's not. Well, we're gonna have to, start taking it a bit more seriously. WG58 says, would like to see Bowen play just behind Skamaka with Antonio on the right wing and play Downs instead of Souček. I completely agree. Souček, I think, had 2 touches in the first half, I think the commentator said. Come on. I know it's City, but come on. Yeah. Antonio on the right wing, yes. And then Bowen, yeah, I'll tell you what, that sounds good. Playing him just to the side or just behind, I think that's when you're going to get the best out of both of them there. I agree. Good shout. Fresh fielder, Creswell wasn't that bad, still needs replacing. Bang on.
Yeah.
Mandy says the game that matters in terms of where we are going to the game that matters in terms of where we're going to be this year is next week. Yeah, I agree completely,
Yes,
Mandy.
yeah.
So Peter says sat on the train on the way back, predicted 3-1 to City before the teams announced, and and then thought 5-1 after seeing the teams. Yeah, wasn't very positive. Mandy says difficult to ignore today's result, but that's what you've got to do. Yeah, exactly. Bang on. We've got to just move on, concentrate on Forest, and really, you got to think most teams are going to get a battering from City this year if that Haaland's going to play like that.
Yeah, well, and if you think, then they start making substitutions, and like Samares is coming on, and Silva, Bernardo Silva, which he's one of my favourite players in the Premier League, and you go, wow, they've got such a squad, and the 5 substitutions, I believe, suits them. They can rest players, they can rotate it more, and still bring on quality.
That annoys me. 5 subs. It really does annoy me.
Yeah, and when Moyes announced he was all for it, I was so shocked.
Yeah, he barely makes 3. Let's have a look here. Lawrence says we should take every match serious if we want to be in the top 6. I'm not settling for 7+. Frema says at the presser, Moyes sounded like he didn't want to play the game with the injuries, late signings, and all. Yeah, exactly. This is what Moyes said. We've got a few niggles which is putting us behind, and we now know that that's all of our centre backs. When you look at it, at the end of the day, yes, we lack creativity. Yes, we lacked pretty much everything attacking wise. We didn't get a battering with only one of our 5 centre backs fit. I don't think Johnson had a really, really bad game. Yes, he was slightly out of position, but no one was stopping Haaland for that second goal. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. Man City are in another league, and it didn't really look like they got out of second gear. Peter says 4 points minimum in the next 2, or it could be a tough season. I agree. Fresh fielder Souček didn't get many touches, but he held the shape. He did break up quite a lot of play. I must admit, everyone will say he's fatigued. Trini, not sure with a performance like that. We are singling out individuals. The whole team lacked energy, creativity, pace, possession, fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
pace
I
is the
mean,
key.
it was throughout the team, Trinity. I agree with that because we've had games like this before where 4 or 5 people at least are off the pace and you're on the back foot most of the game, and that's how it turned out, didn't it? We were never up for it, and I say I think the heat did play a part, but it honestly did look like an end of season game for us. Like we were struggling and tired. It was straight, but you can't keep playing games with one centre half, 2 centre half. That doesn't help.
Yeah.
But we reduced them. I mean, like I say, we reduced them to actual chances to not a lot. They didn't really have that. They scored what they needed to, but really, like I say, Ariola didn't really make the save, or Fabianski, from what I can remember, hardly made the save.
Yeah. Which, with the centre back situation, it is incredibly frustrating because for both sides, 5 centre backs will be more than enough to complete a season, and we're 1 game in, and we're having to chuck somebody into centre back, which is frustrating. Which means that we are going to have to buy another centre back, whether it's we dip into the free transfer market or a loan, or get somebody Premier League proven who's not gonna need time to bed in and get all this. Maybe just an English Premier League proven.
Cody.
Yeah, Cody. Hang on. Yeah. Somebody like that. Gary, no point moaning. I liked how Skamaka looked. I think he'll be dangerous as he settles in. I agree. We were all over him in the first 90 seconds. Yeah, that's a positive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely smashing them there, Sean, with that first 90. Actually, when I saw that, I was really pepped up with that. I went, wow, this is better, boys. And that was it.
Yeah, it was.
That was it for the rest of the half, wasn't it? They just had the ball.
Just before we carry on to some final thoughts, I'd like to say thank you, everybody, for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. You can become a channel member by clicking the link in the chat now to support the channel. Final thoughts then, Kieran. We can't look into it too much, can we? Let's be honest.
No. I said I thought we'd lose 2-0. We did. I didn't expect it. I expected a bit more energy from the team, a little bit more, attacking threat. We're not counter-attacking. We didn't do that today. Too many people were flat. We didn't seem to be able to pass it from the back to the midfield and hold the ball. We kept losing it. So, but it's the result itself I'm not too bothered about. Get this game out of the way. We've lost 2-0. We haven't been absolutely hammered. We just haven't put in a good performance. And just next week when we play Forest, this is where our season starts. And I reckon we'll do them. I ain't going to worry about this game compared to that. Hopefully we've got a couple more bodies in. Maybe Cornet can start. Maybe Skamaka will start. Hopefully we get a centre half, one of the centre halves fit again. Maybe Dawson or Diop, whatever is happening there. Maybe we get one of them in, and it'll be a completely different feel to the game, I think.
Yeah. We're all saying we can't look into it too much, but at the end of the day, it does need to be looked at, and they need to be told in training this week. But that wasn't good enough, and there wasn't enough creativity, pace, passion. It wasn't there, and that needs to be. Yeah, and that does need to be there for next week. Lessons to be learned, and ready to go again for Forest next week. Thanks everybody for watching. All of you in the chat, thank you very much. Kieran, you've been with me for the pre-match program all day. Give us a time check. What are you on?
It's 3:51 a.m.
What a lovely time to be alive, eh?
Isn't it, eh? There's nothing better than getting up through the night to watch West Ham play like that. You just
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, hopefully the boys will bounce back next week against Nottingham Forest in our second game and our first away game of the season. We will be up there in Nottingham, so that should be a laugh. And thank you everybody. Kieran, thanks very much. People in the chat, thanks very much. Is what it is from us. Come on, you Lions, bounce back next week, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers, guys, and we'll catch you soon. Bye bye. Up the boys.